Some gardens seem to ask for constant work. Kneeling in the dirt, lifting heavy bags, watering every single day. By the end of the week, your back feels tired and your hands feel stiff. But then you visit another garden. The plants look just as healthy. The tomatoes are full. The flowers are bright. Yet the gardener spends far less time bending and lifting. Weeks go by, and the garden almost seems to care for itself. What if your garden could feel lighter on your body like that? What if you could grow fresh food and flowers without daily strain? After years of watching how seniors garden successfully, one pattern becomes clear. The healthiest gardens often require less work, not more. The secret is not strength. It is setup. If gardening feels harder than it used to, you're not doing anything wrong. Bodies change. Energy changes. That is normal. Today, I'll walk you through 7 simple adjustments. They reduce bending. They reduce lifting. They reduce daily tasks. And they still help your plants thrive. Before explaining why this worked, it helps to understand how small changes in design can completely change your effort. Let's begin with the soil. When a garden feels like constant work, the soil is often the reason. This is where most beginners accidentally create more effort for themselves. Healthy soil holds moisture longer. It holds nutrients longer. It protects plant roots from heat and drying wind. When soil is thin and dry, you have to water more. You have to feed more. You have to check more often. That daily checking adds up. Here's what most people miss. The top inch of soil can look dry, even when deeper layers still hold moisture. If your soil looks dry on top, that doesn't mean it's failing. Instead of digging and mixing every week, let the soil do the work. A simple layer of compost on top. A soft layer of leaves or mulch. Materials that slowly break down over time. When organic matter sits on the surface, it feeds the soil life underneath. Worms move it down. Microbes break it apart. Over time, the soil becomes darker and softer without heavy turning. This means fewer trips with the watering can. Less bending to inspect. Less daily worry. You are not forcing growth. You are building a system that supports it. Now, let's remove even more bending. One small change can remove most of the strain from harvesting and pruning. Grow up instead of down. Plants naturally move toward light. Vines climb. Stems stretch. When we support that natural habit, we make our own work easier. A simple trellis for beans. A tomato cage. A raised planter at waist height. Even a sturdy table with containers placed on top. When plants grow upward, fruit and leaves sit closer to eye level. You can check them while standing. You can harvest without kneeling. You don't need expensive systems. Wooden stakes, recycled fencing, or simple store-bought supports can work just fine. What surprised many gardeners is how much cleaner the plants stay when lifted off the ground. Better airflow. Fewer soil splashes. Less bending to fix broken stems. If you've always grown at ground level, that's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. But lifting plants higher can quietly reduce your daily effort. Now, let's talk about watering. This is where things changed for many seniors. Watering once, not every day, can actually make plants stronger. Here is the key insight. When you water lightly every day, roots stay near the surface. They do not need to grow deeper. Shallow roots dry out faster. So you water again and again. It becomes a cycle. But when you water slowly and deeply, moisture moves farther down into the soil. Roots follow that moisture. They stretch deeper. Deeper roots find more stable water and nutrients. Shallow water leads to shallow roots. Shallow roots lead to more work. This is why deep watering matters. A slow soak with a hose placed at the base. A simple drip line. Even a low-cost timer attached to a faucet. These systems allow water to move down gradually. You water less often. The soil stays steady longer. If you've been watering daily for years, that's okay. Plants adjust. You can shift slowly. Start by watering deeply every few days instead of lightly every day. Observe how the soil responds. Gardening should not feel like a daily emergency. Deep watering builds resilience. Now, let's reduce effort even further with plant choice. Some plants quietly demand attention. Others are patient and forgiving. This is where selection changes everything. Annual vegetables often need replanting each season. They need more feeding, more checking. But many perennials return year after year with very little effort. Herbs like thyme and oregano, perennial onions, berry bushes, rhubarb. These plants settle in and grow stronger each year. Plant once, harvest many times. Even among vegetables, some are sturdier than others. Zucchini, bush beans, and certain leafy greens can tolerate small mistakes. They recover well. It's not about skill. It's about selection. If your energy is limited, choose plants that forgive small gaps in care. This reduces pressure. It reduces the feeling that you must do something every day. You are designing ease into the garden from the beginning. Now we come to a common mistake. Many gardeners believe they must dig and turn the soil every season. It feels productive. It feels like preparation. But repeated digging can break soil structure. It dries the ground. It disturbs the natural air pockets created by worms and microbes. This is where most people go wrong. Soil organisms build pathways underground. These pathways allow water and roots to move easily. When we turn the soil deeply again and again, we reset that structure. Instead of digging, try top dressing. Add compost to the surface. Add mulch. Let nature pull nutrients downward. Over time, the soil becomes softer without heavy shoveling. This method protects your back. No heavy lifting. No deep bending. And it protects the underground life that helps your plants grow. If you've always dug in spring, that's okay. Many gardeners learn that way. But you can experiment with one bed. Leave it undisturbed. Watch how it performs. Observation is often more powerful than effort. Now, let's look at containers. Containers can either double your work or cut it in half. The difference is in setup. Small pots dry out quickly. That means more watering. Larger containers hold moisture longer. They stay stable. Choose containers with good drainage holes. Place them close to a water source. Even moving them a few steps closer to your door can reduce walking back and forth. Lightweight potting mix matters too. Heavy soil becomes compacted. Roots struggle. Water drains poorly. When containers are placed at waist height, you remove kneeling completely. You can sit on a chair while checking leaves. You don't need dozens of pots. Even 2 or 3 well-placed containers can provide herbs or salad greens without heavy effort. Here's what many seniors discover. Moving the garden closer to you is easier than moving yourself to the garden. Design matters. Now, let's look at the final adjustment. Setting up once. Harvesting for years. The easiest gardens are designed, not managed. When you create mulch beds, you reduce weeds. When you group perennials together, you reduce replanting. When you install a simple drip system, you reduce daily watering decisions. Systems remove repeated choices. Fewer decisions mean less stress. For example, a thick layer of mulch can block sunlight from reaching weed seeds. Fewer weeds mean less bending. A small perennial corner with herbs means less annual planting. Over time, your garden becomes stable, predictable, calmer. This is not about perfection. It is about reducing repeated effort. The goal is to build once and maintain lightly. Now, a gentle safety note. Many gardeners overdo things with good intentions. Extra fertilizer, extra pruning, extra watering. More is not always better. Over-fertilizing can lead to fast but weak growth. Over-pruning can stress a plant. Over-watering can limit oxygen in the soil. Plants are resilient. They often need less interference than we think. If growth seems slow early in the season, that's okay, especially in cool weather. Roots often grow before leaves show changes. This is a time to pause, observe, adjust slowly. You're not doing anything wrong if your garden moves at a gentle pace. Gardening is not a race. Now take a moment and think about your own space. Which of these changes would make your garden feel easier right now? Is bending the hardest part? Or daily watering? Or lifting heavy bags? If you feel comfortable, You can share which task feels most tiring for you. Or tell us what you are growing this season. Your setup might help someone else who is listening. Remember, the goal is not to work harder. It is to design smarter. When you let soil build slowly, when you grow upward, when you water deeply instead of daily, when you choose forgiving plants, when you stop digging every season, when you use containers wisely, and when you set up simple systems, something shifts. The garden begins to support you. Gardening should feel peaceful, not exhausting. It should bring steady progress, not constant strain. You do not need to do everything at once. Change one bed. Adjust one habit. Observe what happens. Over time, you will notice something important. The less you force, the more the garden settles into balance. Do less, get more, and trust the process.